What if the reason you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or spiritually misaligned is not because you're doing something wrong, but because you've been focusing on the wrong things without even realizing it? So many high-performing leaders live with internal pressure, self-criticism, and the quiet fear that they're somehow falling behind. They're working hard, they love God, they want to make an impact, yet their focus keeps getting hijacked by the thoughts, by the emotions, and the patterns that don't support the identity God has given them and their mission. Today's session is part of a long teaching where we're exploring the process of breaking these patterns. I'm going to show you why your focus is the root system of your identity and why God never designed you to carry the weight you've been putting on yourself. When you understand this transformation process becomes lighter, clearer, and finally aligned with who you're becoming in God. This is a small segment from a much longer teaching. This is door number 2, the door of identity. And everything in your life changes from here as long as you utilize what you're about to hear.
Now you're back for door number 2. And if you took a chance to watch the door of focus, this realm of perspective in which we're getting really intentional and responsible and shifting what we focus in on, you're starting to see that maybe right now there are some things in your life that you've been focusing in on that are not supportive to you. Now, before you do what most humans do, which is put ball and chain to their foot because we are so good at making ourselves wrong, I invite you to allow God to give you the grace that He's already given us, because there's no condemnation in Him. This is why as we go through this journey of transformation, becoming someone we've never been before, and we are rooted in God, it makes the process that much easier. Now, when I say easier, I don't mean that it's just out of nowhere going to happen without any effort. No, it just means that there isn't this yoke of pressure, because it is not you doing the work, it is you allowing Him to do the work in you. And it all comes back down to that first door of transformation, which if you haven't checked it out, you got to go back and listen, because this is going to build on top of that. That door allows you to recognize that everything that you focus in on consistently starts to create patterns of behavior, patterns of feelings. And those feelings over time start to create the lenses through which we see life. And as those feelings paint the lenses through which we see life, it also gives access to how we perform, how we show up in the world, the things that we do. This is why it's so important that we take full responsibility for taking on this paradigm shift. And we start to get really, really serious about the fact that God gave us a reason to be here alive on planet Earth right now. And if we don't take the responsibility on as if it means our life, because it does, then consider that maybe you're just wasting away. And if that's the way in which you choose to live life, beautiful. But I don't believe that is, because you wouldn't be here if that was the case. So focus, door number 1. Door number 2 builds right on top of that. So it's really important because door number 1 is the one that we can place full responsibility on. There's few things that we can control. There's many more things that we can't control. Now we get it backwards. We think we have so much to control. No, we have very little that we can and much more that we are not able to. So this focus, door number 1, if you haven't checked it out, this idea of focus is going to give you door number 2, which is the door of identity. And the door of identity builds upon that, because the more that we take responsibility for what we are paying attention to, it is going to either align or misalign with the intention that we're moving towards. So let me just pull this up, and it's going to give you the chance to explore yourself as an individual, as a human being, in a much more powerful way. Right now, we're going to start to explore door number 2 when it comes to transformation. And again, door number 1 builds upon this one. So I invite you, and look, the thing with these is the more that you go through life, the more that things will become present to you. So if right now you're just starting to really grasp these ideas, that's perfectly cool. I'm not expecting you, nor should you expect to get everything right away, because these are the kinds of things that get more revealed the more that you take action. This is the idea that the only way that we're going to be able to park the car is if we are in motion. So don't expect for things to shift if you don't shift. That is literally the definition of insanity. We must be the ones to take the responsibility on, because as we build upon last session, the door of focus, now we're going to focus on the door of identity. And the door of identity begins with this simple diagram. So consider that this is the full entirety of everything in life. Okay, within this circle, what lives is everything that was, everything that is, and everything that will be. not just for you, but for everybody else. Now I'm talking history past and history to come. Everything exists within this circle. Okay? Sounds far-fetched, but that's the idea, because we're looking at something very, very big in nature, and we're bringing it down so we can much easier understand it.
What you just heard is only the beginning. If this opens something in you, if you're recognizing that the things you've been focusing in on have been shaping your experience of life, and maybe even limiting what God has been trying to build in you, then do not stop here. Door number 2 goes far deeper than what we just covered in this short video. Inside the school community down below, you can watch the entire door number 2 training at no cost to you. And in that training, you'll get the tools, the diagrams, and the step-by-step exercises that help you take this from an idea to a lived reality. Because once you understand what's actually influencing how you show up, spiritually, emotionally, and as a leader, everything changes. The pressure lifts, the striving quiets, and you finally start operating from a place of clarity and God-given identity. So if something in you is stirring, if you're tired of repeating the same patterns, if you're ready to understand who you're becoming and how God is shaping you, then join us inside the school community today and watch the full training. It's all there for you, no cost. And when you're ready to explore breakthrough as a high-level leader in your peace, your presence, and most importantly, the way you lead your business, take 5 minutes to complete the leadership assessment quiz. It will show you exactly where your leadership is anchored right now and what leading from identity will unlock in your life. Your next level is not found in more effort. It's found in who you're becoming. Step into the community, watch the training, start the transformation.